I'm sure you've heard the news. Welcome back to Universal Insight. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon at the bottom for more updates. The headline blares, Canada shuts border to US beef. You picture idle trucks at the Montana-Alberta crossing, drivers turned away, tension thick in the air. The rumor spreads fast. American ranchers fear their biggest market is gone overnight. It's a story that preys on anxieties about security and economic stability. For ranchers and workers, this isn't just news, it's a threat to their livelihoods. The rumor feels plausible, trade relationships are fragile, and we've seen them fray before. But before panic sets in, we have to ask, is this really happening? In a world where a tweet can spark chaos, the line between rumor and reality is razor thin. These stories tap into primal fears of rejection and isolation. But we owe it to ourselves to pause, breathe, and question. What's the real story? Is this a true crisis or just another viral panic? Let's find out. Here's the truth. As of today, there's no Canadian ban on all US beef. The dramatic border shutdown? It's fiction, fueled by unverified posts and confusion. We checked official statements, industry groups, no evidence of a sweeping ban. The real crisis? It's at the southern border. The US halted live cattle imports from Mexico due to a dangerous pest, the New World screwworm. This biosecurity move is serious, but it's not about Canada or processed beef. Misinformation twisted the facts, countries swapped, products changed, and a new rumor was born. Yes, Canada has occasionally paused shipments from specific US plants, but never a total ban. The real threat isn't a Canadian blockade, it's the viral spread of a false story. Understanding the facts moves us from panic to clarity. The US action against Mexican cattle is real, the Canadian beef ban is not. This distinction matters. Don't let rumors drive the narrative, let's stick to the facts. Meat trade scares aren't new, governments have protocols for real threats. When disease or pests emerge, science and politics collide. But the goal is always to protect agriculture without wrecking trade. Look at Australia. After years of strict bans due to mad cow disease, they lifted restrictions only after rigorous risk assessments and new US safety measures. The US and Canada have faced their own outbreaks, learning that transparency and cooperation rebuild trust. When a problem is found, the response is targeted. Suspend the affected facility, investigate, fix, and resume trade. This approach avoids chaos while ensuring safety. History shows nations act on verified threats with science-based, measured responses. Australia didn't cave to politics, they waited for proof. The US banned Mexican cattle, not beef, to stop a specific pest. If Canada ever faced a real threat, it would likely follow this targeted playbook. Sudden, total bans are rare. They defy decades of international practice. That's why the current rumor doesn't add up. So what could actually trigger a real Canadian ban on US beef? First, a major biosecurity crisis like foot-and-mouth disease would force Canada to act fast to protect its herds. Second, a trade war. If the US slapped tariffs on Canadian goods, Canada might retaliate by targeting US beef. Third, domestic protectionism. If Canadian ranchers struggle, they could pressure their government to block US competition under the guise of safety. Fourth, regulatory clashes. If Canada sets stricter standards that the US can't meet, a standoff could lead to a de facto ban. Each scenario is possible, but none are happening now. Real bans are driven by clear triggers: disease, trade disputes, protectionism, or regulatory fights. They're not sudden or baseless. The current rumor skips these steps. Understanding the real triggers helps us separate fact from fiction. It's not about panic, it's about knowing what's possible. And today, none of those triggers have been pulled. If a real ban hit, the fallout would be immediate and severe. Canada is a top market for US beef. Losing it would erase billions in sales overnight. The result? A glut of beef in the US, prices crashing, ranchers pushed to the brink. The pain would ripple out. Feedlots, processors, truckers, and rural communities would all feel the squeeze. Jobs would vanish, businesses would close, and entire towns could face economic ruin. The political response would be swift: calls for tariffs, retaliation, and a potential trade war. What starts as a beef dispute could spiral, damaging industries far beyond agriculture. The US-Canada partnership, built over decades, could fracture in days. The stakes are enormous. That's why rumors matter. They can spark real-world consequences. A false panic can set off a chain reaction. The cost isn't just economic, it's about trust, stability, and livelihoods. That's why the truth is so important. In today's world, rumors travel faster than facts. The Canadian beef ban story is a case study in how misinformation spreads and why it matters. There is no ban, just a real crisis with Mexico, twisted into something it's not. For ranchers, truckers, and policymakers, the difference between rumor and reality is huge. Misinformation can disrupt economies, destroy jobs, and threaten food security. We all have a role: question what you read, seek credible sources, and demand accuracy. Don't let fear drive decisions, let facts lead the way. When a headline shocks you, pause and check the source. The story of the beef ban that wasn't is a warning. Trust is fragile, and truth is our best defense. By sticking to facts, we protect livelihoods, food supplies, and international partnerships. Don't let rumors decide our future, let the truth do it. The hypothetical scenario of a beef import ban between Canada and the US is not just a political maneuver, it's an economic earthquake. Picture this: Canada, one of the largest beef suppliers to the US, suddenly halts exports. The immediate effect? A sharp spike in beef prices across American supermarkets. Restaurants, from fast food chains to high-end steakhouses, face skyrocketing costs and pass them on to consumers. But it doesn't stop there. The ripple effect extends to countless industries. Transportation companies that specialize in hauling meat face reduced demand, leading to layoffs and financial strain. Feed suppliers, who rely on contracts with Canadian ranchers, see their businesses wane. Even local farmers in the US might not escape unscathed as market volatility disrupts their operations. The agricultural sector, already a fragile ecosystem, would feel the tremors. Small towns that depend on meatpacking plants for employment could see job losses, dwindling local economies, and increased poverty rates. The shockwaves could even reach global markets as other countries step in to fill the void, altering trade balances and diplomatic relationships. This isn't just a story about beef, it's a complex web of economic interdependence. A ban might start with cattle, but its impact could touch every corner of daily life. Understanding the full scope of these implications underscores why accurate information and sound decision-making are crucial. The stakes are high and the consequences far-reaching. Let's ensure that facts, not fears, guide our path forward. As rumors of a potential beef import ban swirl, shoppers and retailers across North America are already feeling the pressure. In supermarkets, customers eye the meat aisle with concern, some stocking up on beef products in anticipation of shortages, while others begin exploring alternatives like chicken, pork, or plant-based proteins. Panic buying, reminiscent of past supply chain scares, threatens to empty shelves and drive prices even higher. Retailers, caught in the crossfire, are scrambling to adapt. Major grocery chains are revisiting their supply contracts, seeking new sources and negotiating with domestic producers to fill potential gaps. Some stores are implementing purchase limits to prevent hoarding, while others are launching campaigns to assure shoppers that supply remains steady, for now. But the uncertainty is palpable. Small butchers and local grocers, lacking the buying power of big chains, worry about keeping their cases stocked and customers satisfied. Restaurants too are rethinking menus, considering price adjustments, and even highlighting alternative dishes to offset potential beef shortages. Behind the scenes, consumer advocacy groups are urging transparency, calling for clear communication from both government officials and industry leaders. Social media buzzes with speculation, misinformation, and advice, fueling both anxiety and community support. Ultimately, the response from consumers and retailers reveals a broader truth. In times of uncertainty, adaptability and clear information are critical. As the rumor mill churns, everyday choices in grocery stores and restaurants become a reflection of larger economic forces at play, reminding us all how interconnected and vulnerable our food systems truly are.